What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and yeah, let's jump into things. So a very interesting day today, to say the least, and honestly at this point it's almost laughable at how ridiculous this week has gotten. Very difficult conditions, but yeah, well, let's see what we can do. So I am going to clear the charts just because I feel like my charts are a bit of a mess, but first let's look at how price delivered. You see we expanded very aggressively higher, taking out stops above these highs here and here. I did not anticipate this at all, as you'd know, and then you can see eventually we traded down, running that 4 hour fair value gap and creating relative equal lows below here and here. So it's nice to see that we traded to our 4 hour fair value gap. This I did not anticipate at all, as you'd know if you've been watching me this week. So that did throw me off, and I'm sure it caught a lot of us out as well. But one thing to take note of is that look at how price has taken out two sides of the market. We've taken out highs and we've just accumulated stops below here as well. So like they're up to something, and I do think we're going to see a large expansion soon, but this is just confirmed that we're probably going to stay in a consolidation for much longer. It's very rare. I can't name one time I've seen price action like this, you know, taking both sides of the market in one day. So very disgusting. I just feel like clearing the charts, starting all over again this week, because this is ridiculous. But you can see we're clearly stuck in a consolidation nonetheless. But let's go to the weekly and take a closer look. And yeah, it's just generally quite difficult. My bias still remains the same in that I want to see an up close week ideally. That's what I was saying on Sunday, so really I shouldn't change my bias. I'm still aware that we've traded into a bullish order block, and we still have this massive wick from last week to trade up into. We haven't quite tapped into it properly yet, but as soon as we drop down to the daily now, guys, I don't know, like this is crazy. I wouldn't be trading in these conditions if I was you. One thing to take note of though, let's see what we can find. There's a gap here, so there's a volume imbalance right there, and you can see our price is staying above the 50% level of this. So this might be what's holding price right now on dollar, and this might be indicative that price may want to rally, but at this point I don't even want to say much, because it's just not, these are just not good conditions, guys. Let's go to the 4 hour, take a closer look. Yeah, I'd like to think that we'll see price expand higher. Again, on the hourly, I've been wanting to see this high get taken. If you've been watching me this week, so it'd be nice to see if we can trade up into that. I don't know how it's going to get there, to be honest, but I'd like to think that we can see that. So that's what I'm sticking to right now. Considering as well how price dropped so aggressively and we've taken out these lows. Have we taken it out? These, let me check the low of this, 107.627. So yeah, it just traded to these lows. So there's relative equal lows, but technically because it's tapped it, I would count that as being swept, but still. Yeah, let's see. And then we also have an imbalance here. Let's take a look at this. Where are we in that? Above here. So there's a few things we can look at, right? Let's see. We got to work with what we're given, but there's really not much. I do like the look of this reversal, you know, low, high, low, low, little breaker right here. Hasn't been traded to just yet. Fair value gap been traded through, and these are just the things which are popping out to me. I'm not saying this means this or this means that, but if I'm gonna remain bullish tomorrow, price will not drop below these down close candles. So I'm looking at this as a bullish order block. 1, 2, 3, these down close candles, price shouldn't be able to drop down there any lower than these 3 candles tomorrow, and I'm not getting involved unless that happens. I'm happy to remain pretty much bullish and expect price to continue rallying. And then ideally it would be nice to think that price can get up here, but obviously it's got to get through whatever this mess is. But if we look here, here and here, we have relative equal highs as well, so if we could even drop this, and we know that there's liquidity residing up there. It's just whether price can expand above it is the question. But one thing to take note of, if we look at the 50% level of this gap, you know, look at how price is treating it. Again, look at that volume, and then we've traded above it now. I'd like to think that this midpoint can provide support, so if price does drop down into that, we can find continued support there. Let's go to the 5 minute bullish order block at that level as well. But obviously we've still got a lot of the Asia range to trade through. But generally speaking, this order block, like I said, between this high and this low, I'd like to think that this can hold price. And if price trades through it, so if dollar drops below the 50% level off this order block, I'm not getting involved, and that means price is probably going to keep digging deeper and start running for these lows, which is completely fine. I'm happy with that. I'm not, at this point, I'm over it this week, because after seeing that, I just can't be arsed, guys. This is crazy. But yeah, I do want to think that this is a change in the state of delivery. So like I said, I'd like to think it can hold price, but we'll have to see. Let's take a look at the pairs. I do have some people in my Discord asking for reviews on USD, JPY. I haven't looked at that in ages, so if that's something you guys would be interested in, drop a comment below, or drop a like, and we'll see what we can do. But if we want to see dollar rally, that means obviously we want to see if pound can trade any lower. Let's go on the daily, and you can see, well, let's see what we traded to. We traded to a bearish order block right there. And then in terms of sell side targets, we do have sell side below lows, of course. So, there's two PD arrays that we can use to our advantage. Let's go to the 4 hour, see if there's anything else. And you can see how we traded right up into that bullish order block open and turned at it. So the fact that we're seeing this is quite hinting to me, like, we wouldn't have respected that bullish order block so nicely from the daily if this didn't mean something. So that's quite supportive. And like I said, in line with dollar ideally rallying. That would be quite nice to think that this is an actual, drop in price. So let's keep that in mind. And then also it's a breaker, high, low, high, high, last down close candle. If we dragged that out, you can see how price has turned around in that range as well quite nicely. So now it's a matter of going down to the low time frames, looking at this section right here, which has already been covered, seeing where price might want to rally tomorrow morning. And then you can see we have high impact news at 2. So we might find that price rallies between, say, midnight and 2 a.m. and then price drops. That's something for us to consider. But yeah, let's take a look at the 1 hour. Not much there. Run on stops, buy side, grabbed, instantly turned around and left that range. But again, anything above that midnight opening price tomorrow, I'd be looking for shorts. So here's our breaker low, and here's a fair value gap. So in a dream world, this is an ideal ICT setup. But as in, a perfect setup. But looking at how the markets are moving this week, I have no hope. I have no faith whatsoever. But regardless, high, low, high, high, mark out that breaker low. It'd be nice to think, or nice to see, if price can wander up into that early hours of London, and then 2 a.m. use that to then drop. Or it will do the opposite. Price will keep dropping, and then 2 a.m. it will trade to it. It's going to do one or the other. But in the ideal world, Thursday will open, GBP will rally, trade right up to here, tap it, and then 2 a.m. will hit, and it will just drop and turn around and start trading lower for the rest of the week. Then we've got some beautiful, look at this, 1, 2, 3 15-minute candles, creating some beautiful relatively equal lows below there as a nice outside target for liquidity. So again, this is me hoping that we're going to see some kind of rallying and price doesn't just drop straight out. After seeing today's delivery, I think we will probably see some, because it's very look at this consolidation, guys. But it's interesting to see how they're taking out anyone that's long. They managed to grab them out, and then they ran up and took out anyone that's short. So that's what I mean. Both sides of the markets. This is a pretty nicely traded trading range. So once it's eventually left this range, I'd like to think that would see it drop off precipitously, and we could be in a nice strong trend. But until then, it's going to be in its consolidation, and we just need to see how this breaker holds up for price. Let's go to the 5 minute. Very classic price action right there. But yeah, what a day, guys. What a day. Make sure to join the Discord. But these relative equal lows, they're not going to leave. This looks way too clean. They're not going to leave that intact. This is the most juiciest relative equal lows I've seen in a while. So again, if that's not tacked, if it gets to 2 a.m. and we haven't traded there, I'm looking for that to get traded to. And this is all assuming we're staying below this breaker. High, low, high, high. So below this range right here. So that's going to be everything on pound. I hope that will make sense. You see, pound's looking a lot more cleaner than dollar. Way more cleaner. But things taken off from dollar, there is, you see, where we accumulate, so there's a point of this distribution going on here, right? So if we drag this out, and I'll show you the range between this high and this low, we drag that out. You see how we traded back down into that, and we left it. You know, it's fine to support at it for a reason. You know, it's respecting it. Look at that. So I like when price does things like this, because it's sensible. It makes sense. So now it's just a matter of, okay, if price is going to keep rallying, any kind of drop below that midnight opening in the new day should be a discount for us to then start thinking about price rallying into our highs above here, here, and here. But I'd be surprised if we had a big day, because again, even yesterday I was like, I doubt we're going to move a lot today, but we've had the most movement I've ever seen in a while. So I think this is just February kicking in. You know, I feel like this is just the charts, you know, really kicking into gear for the year, because ICT's even said he doesn't start trading till February, and I can see why. And you know, this is what, the second week of Feb, very classic for price to start, you know, getting a little bit more active. So seeing this is quite exciting, if anything, and don't feel like you've missed anything. I think this is like, I feel like this is the algorithm saying, alright, we're getting into gear now, we're getting in for the big runs. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at dollar and pound. And then let's finish up on euro USD, and then similarly, let's just clear everything at this point. Fresh mind, clean charts, clean mind, guys. Going to the daily, same thing. If we want to see dollar do a little bit of rally, and we want to see if euro can drop off again, look at the wicks, disgusting. But you know, we could argue that we've been trading up into a breaker right here, last down close candle. We could, you know, that we can justify it, but you can justify it. The thing with forex is that you can justify anything if you try hard enough. Let's go to the 4 hour, and let's just think about it. So we've ran out buy side liquidity above here, nice. So price shouldn't need to come back above that level. You know, I'm pretty sure that between this high and up here, price shouldn't need to go up there. So let's just black that out. Price shouldn't need to go up there. We're done. We've done the work up there. Price doesn't need to go above there. And then it traded up into here, which is also a rejection block. So it's just tapped into that just about. But that's not really important right now. And then where are we trading down to? We'll be looking at these lows, and then relative equal lows between this low and this low. I like the look of. So let's mark out our south side liquidity below there. Again, very ambitious target, but at this point I would not be surprised if we made it. We've got a bearish order block right there, and this is all assuming we're bearish. And then where's the breaker here? The breaker here is here. Now I don't think it doesn't, like, euro's looking awfully weak to me. It doesn't look like euro's going to make it all the way up here, especially the way it's broke here. But I'm not going to talk too soon. It's only 4:45. We still have the whole Asia session. So let's let euro do its thing, but that would be the breaker. Ideally, price would trade back into this fair value gap and trade on lower. But it's very well possible that it doesn't, because, you know, we've filled this fair value gap with volume, and price might not even rally above there tomorrow. So I'm going to keep this marked out just in case, because if we're still below here tomorrow, and, you know, or at the Thursday opening, we're still below here, and it's reaching 2 AM and we're not rallying much, I wouldn't expect price to even get above this, let alone up to here. So it's all just dependent on where we are at the certain times. But ideally, in the dream world, price would rally above these highs, tap into that breaker, and then trade on lower for the rest of the day, because this looks like a perfect high, low, higher, high, and drop. I'm going to get rid of this because this is confusing. But, you know, that would be a classic breaker in action. But, you know, we'd have to see the rallying. And then we'd target south side liquidity below here. These stops 1 and 2. So yeah, that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that all makes sense. Yeah, don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing lists, and join the Discord. Let me know your thoughts on the charts right now. Peace.